Let's start customizing our materials. As I said before, these materials here, they come from Lime Exporter plugin, and it was to save us time because of all these books, okay? But everything else, we are going to change the material. So let's start by this curtain. So let's select this and go to Indoor, Curtains, select the first one. Now here double click and I will select like a more brownish color. Actually, I provided you a file with the material color codes. So you can just, for example, for this curtain, let's say curtains, copy and then go here and with the mouse over this area, just press Ctrl V. Okay, and it will paste the color. Now I just need to adjust slightly the transparency, more or less like this. Okay, everything else I'll leave as it is. Now these frames here, let's see, I will just put a standard material. I will adjust the gloss a little bit and the reflectivity. The weathering, I'll put aluminum and adjust just a little bit. Edges, increase. Okay, so we have this nice round edge. Okay. Then we need, let's see, this wall here. So this wall we will replace by a wood material from Lumion. So go to Indoor, Wood, and let's select the second from the list. So it's called Polywood Fine 013. So we need to change this color. So let's go to our file again, and let's see, feature wall. Let's copy, and actually double click this one, put this in the middle, about 0.5, and paste. Okay, now we also need to adjust the gloss and reflectivity. So about the gloss, I think I'll make it about here, and I'm going to decrease the reflectivity, the relief as well, maybe like this. Actually decrease this a little bit more, like this is fine. Weathering, I'm going to add a little bit of weathering. The weathering tab is quite useful to add some variation to our texture, so it doesn't look so repetitive. So adjust the slider, maybe like so. And that's it for this material. Okay. Yeah, looks good. Now let's see the floor. About this floor, as you can see, I have modeled each wood plank and even given it some irregularity. This gives you even higher realism that you simply cannot achieve when you just have a plain texture. Also, if you notice, I gave 3 sets of materials, 1, 2, and 3. So this will allow me to have even more variation in my texture. So first let's copy this material. Here, copy. And now let's go to this one, lower, okay. Standard and paste. Okay, we need to rotate the direction. So here, like this, okay. By the way, if you are having a hard time putting this at exactly 90 degrees, what you can do is double click the slider, okay. And now backspace and just press 90, enter. See, quite easy. And so I'll also adjust the color on this material. So let's get back to our file, copy the color and paste it here. Okay, these colors is just for reference if you want to do exactly how I did, but you can always just add your own taste to the scene, okay? Okay, now let's adjust the gloss, maybe like this. The reflectivity, I'll leave it as it is. The relief, I want to decrease it a lot, like this, okay? And the scale can be this actually. The weathering, I'm going to decrease more like this. Okay, Now I just want to copy this material, standard, and paste it here. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'll go to the position, and in offset, I'm just going to offset a little bit, like this, and I can even scale a little bit this texture. Okay, so it's not exactly the same, and I'm even going to make it a little bit darker. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to paste. On this one, I'm just going to make the offset as well and make it a little bit lighter. Okay, that looks good. Now, one thing that we are seeing, if you remember when I showed you in the first lesson about the reflection control, all of my sky is reflecting here. So we need to add the reflection control. So let's go to Light and Utilities and select the Utilities and Reflection Control. I'll add it about here. Just gonna move it up a little bit. Okay. So see, now it's much better. Okay, now let's adjust this sofa material. You can go here. Actually, one thing I want to do before this is just to adjust a little bit the sunlight here. So it's more or less like this, and it's entering our room the same way we have it in our render. Okay. All right. Now about the sofa. So let's go here. You could use this texture that comes with the file, but I prefer to use my own. So let's select standard and go here, choose color map. And we have here one called fabric. So let's select this one. Okay, now let's go here, normal map, and select this normal map. You can either select the DDS file or the target file. Okay. All right. Now let's go to colorization, make it about 0.5. And again, go to our file and sofa, copy and paste. Again, if you want, you can change to any color, will do. See, if you have it at 0.5, since the texture is white, it will just multiply the color. So you can just play around here with the colors and see what fits best you see. But for now, I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to scale this because it's too much right now. I'm going to remove first the relief. And I'm going to scale it about, let's say, okay, right here, it's fine. And now I can introduce back the relief a little bit. So this relief is just to give some wrinkles to our sofa. Okay. Now I want to go to weathering, and leaving this as stone, I will just make it about here. Okay, so if I remove it again, so you see, just giving more contrast in these areas where we have the shadow. Okay, so about here. Now, I want to adjust the gloss and reflectivity as well. So as for the gloss, I'm going to leave it about here, and the reflectivity at about here. Okay. It's looking good. Now what we need to do, we need to copy this material and paste it here on these pillows. I'm going to leave the settings exactly the same, except the color. So on the color, we have here sofa pillows, select and paste here. Okay. All right. Now, about these chairs, I'm going to use exactly the same material as for the sofa. Okay. The changes I'm going to make here, it's the gloss. I'm going to increase just a little bit the gloss, about here. The reflectivity as well, about here. And the relief as well. Let's say like this. The weathering I'm going to reduce. Okay. And the map scale, it's fine. And the color, I'm going to change the color as well. So chairs, this color, paste it here. Okay. And just save changes. Okay. Now we're going to copy this wood here. Copy. And we're going to paste it here. Okay. Now for this wood, I'm gonna leave the glossiness at about here, just a little bit less, increase this. The relief as well, increase a little bit on this case. And colorization, I want to go back to my file, copy and paste. Okay. And the weathering, I'm going to remove it almost completely. Okay. Still have one extra material here that I'm just going to put standard. And I'm going to reduce the, actually I'm going to make it this not black. Don't leave anything black because there's nothing completely black in the world. So just leave it about, can be about this. And then decrease the glossiness, reflectivity. Actually, I like this. I like this, it's fine. I just want to note one thing here. All the changes that you are making here will not reflect exactly in the render. Okay, so this is just an approximation to what we are doing in the material. So if you want to really see the changes, you have to go here, for example, and go to, let me disable this near clip plane. Okay, now here, go to FX. And when you make some changes here, this will be the correct ones that you're going to see in your final render. So for example, if I wanted this to be really glossy, I will just increase here, the reflection. I can remove the relief. So the changes that you make here will be the ones that are in the final render. So just, but in this window, it will be slower to work. So just pay attention to that. So I'm going to cancel these changes. And I will go back and go back. Okay. All right. Now, one important thing, by the way, it's related to the materials as well. We need some background here. So what we'll do, go here, background, and let's put it like this, background interior. Okay, now let's move it maybe here. I'll move this up like so, and I want it to be a little bit rotated like this. I'm holding shift right now, and when you're holding shift and moving this slider, you can see the before position and after the changes you are making. So I think like this, it's fine. Now I want to go to materials, select standard, and let's select the texture. Here, select all textures, and I have here this background image. Okay, now we need to scale the image. Okay, the best way to scale this because if you start scaling like this, you see it will be impossible because it's in the center. So what I usually do, well, first I have to remove the coloring and the relief. What I usually do is I put it at when you have two images of each, and now I'll just move it more or less like this to the center, and this one as well. Okay, and now I will scale it. Okay, so like this is fine. And I will decrease the gloss and the reflectivity. I'll add a little bit of emissive, like so. And I also want to have some color. For this one, I'll leave the color at about here. And I have here the color, daytime color. And let's go back. Okay. And I'll put back a little bit of the relief. So. Okay. Now let's see how it looks from our scene. Okay, so our camera is more or less here, right? So we need to adjust, so move it up, maybe scale it down. Let's try to move it back a little bit, move it up, scale it again. Okay, let's see how it looks in the render. Okay, I think it looks nice. I'll just move it a little bit like this to rotate it a little bit more. Maybe like so. And I want to move it just a little bit to the left. Like this. Okay, I'll take just a new render to see the changes.